Roll call.
Mayor Connie Ball.
Here.
Vice Mayor Bill Costner.
Here.
Alderman John Bugg.
Here.
Alderman Freddie Gregg.
Here.
Alderwoman Kathy Holt.
Here.
Alderman Kenny Morgan.
Here.
Attorney Terry Hurst.
Here.
Administrator Scott Collins.
Here.
Thank you. Item 3 is to approve the minutes of the previous meeting on February the 12th, 2013. You've had those in your book and a chance to look at them. Is there any corrections or additions, or do we have a motion to approve?
I'll make the motion to approve.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? All those in favor indicate by saying yes.
Yes.
Opposed is no. Item 4, recognition of city employee.
Mayor, at this time, I'd like to ask Chief Randy Reagan to please come forward.
Shannon, you're the employee of the month. He don't know why he's here, but now he does. Shannon's been here, and I wrote some stuff down because Shannon has accomplished a lot. He's only been here 9 years. He's been training officer for 4.5 years. Since then, you know, I had him down here a couple months ago because he got his bachelor's degree in fire science. He's a second-level fire officer in the state of Tennessee. He's a second-level fire instructor in this state. He's in charge of all the training, whether it's fire, whether it's extrication, which he even does the certification for our vehicle extrication stuff. Just a couple of weeks ago, I guess it was, maybe more, he came to City Hall and got them taken care of on their CPR and their AED training. And Shannon just does a whole bunch of stuff. I used to be the training officer. Actually, I was the first full-time one with it. And Shannon is now the training officer, and I'm very proud of him. He's taken it a lot farther than I ever did. Thanks a lot. Sorry about this.
Congratulations, Shannon.
Thanks.
Next is reports from City Administrator Scott Collins.
Mayor and Board, I'll try to keep this brief since we've got such a big night tonight. Start off with our property tax collections. February 28th was the last day to pay 2012 property taxes, and our collections stand at 99.3% collected so far, and that's very good, higher than in years past. And all the other tax-related revenues at this time in regard to property are either on track to meet our projections or to exceed our projections. The Riverwalk Phase 2, our City Attorney Terry Hurst has completed the title opinions and submitted them to the TDOT right-of-way office. So the right-of-way phase is proceeding on schedule. And I just want to comment on the great team effort from the Parks and Rec through City Hall staff and our grant administrator and engineering. Everybody working very well on this project, and we should be ready to present it to council to go to bid later this spring. On April 2nd, Wednesday, April 2nd, we're going to host a public announcement event. What this will be, it will be congressional delegations coming down for the library complex project, along with the rural development officials and city staff members will be coordinating this, and we'll have more details to you as soon as possible. We have received the final reports on March 3rd for the Tanner School Building. that says what we can and can't do with it now. We have a meeting coordinated for tomorrow with Miss Carlene Robinson and some other representatives. Going to look over the building and then start putting a plan to present to council to move forward in trying to get reoccupied. One thing I'm very excited about, the city has been selected to participate in the MTAS benchmark program. And what this is a year-long program where we work hands-on with MTAS, and they're going to help us analyze the operations of all city departments to help improve cost effectiveness and efficiency. And we'll be starting that probably within the next month. Couple of announcements from Parks and Recreation. They'll be hosting their inaugural Madness in March activity this Saturday at 10 o'clock at City Park. That's going to include kite flying, free Kool-Aid, cupcakes around the St. Patrick's Day March Madness thing. They'll also be having their long tradition of the annual Easter egg hunt on Saturday, March 31st. That'll be for children ages 1 through 10, and they're to meet at 12 o'clock noon at the tennis courts. And then they have a very special project they're working on for Mother's Day, but we'll have more details at the next meeting on it. And, excuse me, and one more thing, for the Showcase headliner this year, Showcase, of course, is going to be on August 17th and 18th. We're down to the final details in hopes that we'll be getting Con Hunley to be our headliner this year. And the train comes. And lastly now, I'd like to turn over again to Chief Randy Reagan. He's got a very special announcement to make.
Shannon and I were in the paper today because we got a grant last Wednesday, they delivered these new radios. And they were a grant through the Tennessee Homeland Security. It was like $15,000 worth of radios that the city had zero, we didn't have any kind of fund matching. Before those guys left that they delivered these, I got a call from Senator Alexander's office. And one of the grants we applied for last July, was for all new breathing apparatus, and we've been awarded $104,000 to get new breathing apparatus for all the, well, there'll be 20 of them. And that's apparatus, the bottles, the mask, the whole, it's as big a news as I've got to deliver as far as grants, and it's working out well.
Mayor, that concludes our report.
Okay, thank you, Scott. Item 6, item A, consideration of appointment of city judge. We had advertised for that and only have one application by the bell. Is that correct? Council, you've...
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make the motion that we appoint Biden back to that position with a 4-year term instead of a 2-year term.
Okay. Okay, that would, you want to just include item C, which is the consideration of the term of the judge?
Terry, we need to do it first, then come.
That's what I was asking.
Well, our ordinance now provides for a 2-year term, and I wish we had passed the new ordinance prior to this appointment, but we haven't passed that new ordinance yet. I think it's here on first reading.
First reading tonight.
So we could postpone the appointment till after the reading of the second reading of the new ordinance. I think that would be probably the best way to appoint Judge Bell to a 4-year term. I don't think at the present moment we could appoint her to anything other than the 2-year term.
Okay, then I make the motion that we postpone.
Okay, do we have a second?
I'll say.
Judge Bell, do you not concur in that? I don't want to.
I think it could be done that way, or I think it could be reappointed so it's ready to expire, and then we pass the resolution to change it to a set.
Yeah, and we wouldn't have another meeting for a month. I thank you for that observation.
If the council desires, then you come in to change it from 2 years to 4 years, which would apply to my term. You would just change it from 2 to 4 in 2 months or in a month.
Yeah.
whatever you decide to do.
That's an excellent idea. So let's open the floor then, Mayor, to the appointment then. The two-year term at the moment.
Okay. You still have the motion on the floor for the appointment as is?
Yes, we will, I'll make the motion that we appoint her as city judge.
Okay. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? All those in favor indicate by saying yes.
Yes.
Opposed is no.
Should be. And on Judge Bell's behalf, I would like to say that from my observation, she's done an excellent job. I think the council's done well in appointing her. She's been very professional. She's dedicated to the job, and it's been a pleasure working with her for these past 2 years.
Item B, statement of qualifications for the Newport Utilities Board member.
Just simply need a approval to advertise for the position in the local media, and the deadline for submission will be Monday, April 1st at noon. And then the applicants will be provided to the council at the April 2nd workshop or the April 9th meeting, whatever the council's pleasure is.
I'll make the motion to approve.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? All those in favor indicate by saying yes.
Yes.
Opposed is no. Okay, item 7. Item A under 7 is presentation of proposed library complex, Michael Brady Incorporated.
Turn off the lights.
Just come out? No, I guess not. I'm Michael Brady, and just also want to tell you we're really excited about this project. I mean, the opportunities we see of what can happen in Newport and the seeds it plants, I think, are just going to be phenomenal. I hope you're as excited as we are to get through it. We also have Larry Stevens in our office over here, Jeremy Nichols, and Jay Henderlight. And I'd also like to commend the staff and Scott and everyone we've worked with. I mean, the input we've had has been really great and really helpful in developing this. So to give you a little orientation to begin with here, and although I think we got the streets, I think Woodlawn's actually over here, and this is North Street. Here's Main Street. Here's East Broadway. And we looked at a bunch of choices and sites and what could we do, what would be the best development area. And one of the things we started looking at is, I mean, we could locate this maybe over on the other side near the river, but then it wasn't going to get the development impact we wanted to see for the downtown. Because a whole lot of this was that let's get something that has a huge impact for a lot of areas of the city and really get it going. And we also started looking at what we could see from here. And when you come down Broadway and you start looking up Woodlawn here, you really can see quite a bit of this. And this is the street goes through there that direction. And let's go to the, kind of looking down the street, this is what you see right now. But a bunch of this can be cleaned up, and a bunch of this is to be removed. And so we looked at what is the view that we get through this. And we start looking at if we clean up a bunch of this, we start coming down here, you know, and we can do a kind of a roundabout here to slow the traffic down, get it more pedestrian, and an area where we could really put a sculpture feature which brings your attention to it, and put the parking back here, and then we start to develop the building, and we could do some outdoor amphitheater areas. As we come around, we get the parking, and you start to get experience of, and this tower feature from way back, you can see it right off. And as you come around the building, pull back a little bit, Jerry. Yeah, he always likes to get real close, you know, so you can see. But as we come across, then over on Main Street, come back here, and we can create a little fountain area and a sitting area. And by turning the building, we start to get some spaces and really get some excitement. And you can start to see into the library area, and you start to see how you flow into this facility and multiple spaces. And the way it's set up, you have a library on the main floor, we have a museum archive on the second, we have a banquet area on the third, and then we really saw an opportunity, because the view is just tremendous, to do kind of a roof area and some extra activities that could generate into it. And go the, let's see. Yeah, it's going back, and this is down looking the other direction, and you can see down here, and here's the area we'd be taking out, and then you go to the, and here's what we'd end up with, and we get a little more rendering, add some trees in here too. We also have some areas where we could put up features and banners to advertise things going on in the community, whether, you know, this is Library Week, this is, you know, a special function at the museum, whether we got a big banquet celebration going on. And it starts to get these areas, again, we get the kind of the fountain area, kind of seating area outside, kind of brings you in, and start to relate back and forth to what you've already started along the river and some of the activities in that direction. And then this is the other side too, where we'd have the parking back, and here's an amphitheater area, and then here the windows are a little taller because we've got stacked area and other activities into the library. I've also looked at how we reduce operating costs. We've got potential we've set up for some solar panels on the roof, a geothermal system, and go into the, here's a little, you get a little more aerial view. Here's that, this isn't a very good looking sculpture, but that's what we put in there at the moment. Area, but again, it kind of starts to get a pedestrian flow through here and through this area back into shops that would develop, and also kind of a plaza effect in the front of this. And then, and you can start to see the areas. Go to the next one. This is back from the back side there, and although this is what you're going to start to get a visibility through as we look at down the street, because the idea is we want to pull people off. So they're coming there, they stop that stoplight, and I did that just as I was coming in tonight, you know. Stop the stoplight and start looking and seeing, you know, you got a great view of what's happening down here, and you're tweaking people's interest going, I really need to pull over here and see what's going on. And it starts to develop. I think this whole streetscape could really be neat. We also, we did a little bit of narrowing it, a little more sidewalk. We've set the parking so as you come around here, you kind of back into these, so it's an easy flow in that direction, and still have good parking for activities, and then there's other parking downtown. The next one, here's a site plan. You can start to see some of the roof area up here too, and the parking back. And we've looked at even a walkway through it. So you start to develop activities to the retail potential that could develop along this side, beside what can happen on this street, and start to get the whole neighborhood going, and still relate back across the street, I think, to the water and activities there. Well, the next one. Just a little layout so you get an orientation. The way this is set up too is everything is set up so you enter through these doors here, and then you can take an elevator or stairs up to the other levels. The nice thing is you can close off the library with the doors here, and you can still have the other activities open. And so you don't have to worry about security in those areas. We've also set up a meeting area back here, and with bathrooms off of it, so that after hours, if you want to even just have a small meeting or some sort of group wants to meet, they can come in here, use the meeting area, use the bathrooms, and not get into the library or any of the rest of the building. So, and then the activity areas back over in this area where you have the librarian's functions and the break area and repairs is set up where they come in, you come in and there's kind of a seating area with a fireplace, a control spot where from here the librarian can control and see everything going on. And all this is open furniture. One of the things we're finding in libraries is constantly moving what's going on now. Right now there's still quite a few books, and you got some stack area. But as things are going, books are disappearing as we go to Kindles, electronic. And so this is set up so we can shift and make those transitions and not have to remove or change anything in the future. These are set up for computer desks and computer terminals, and that may shift too to more collaboration areas, and these are set up more as collaboration and gathering areas. And there's this great window here where you start looking out in the fountain, you start looking across the street, you start getting out towards the water and other activities in the community. Let's go to the next one. This you can see it a little better from a three-dimensional viewpoint, which is, again, here's that kind of outdoor amphitheater area. Here's those entrances come in. Here's that stack area into it. Here's a potential area where we've got computers. And you can go that, one of the nice things, we do everything in 3 dimensions and in Revit. So, and you can type if you want to go somewhere else, but he can come in here and we can walk through the door and into the library area, seating area. Back up a little bit there, yeah. You can start to see, here's the librarian's area, control spot, the views out the windows, and the computer area. You can go back in there a ways. And back behind that area is the meeting room in that direction. The stack area, again, these can shift out as it goes, as we make the changes. And again, you get the views out the windows, which is so nice, because it really starts to bring people in. And one of the things we want to do is, we met with the library board, and they're just great to work with. But what we want to do is excite people about learning. We want to excite people about coming into the library. We want to invite them in and make them feel like this is the place to go to meet with others and learn and just become better educated, where it kind of intrigues them in that direction. Going up the, if you can find his route here. Yeah, this is up in the museum area, and right now it's kind of an archive area, and then it's also just open, so the museum people can come in and do what they want. We've kept the windows up high, so it's out of the way of any displays or activities in their direction. And then if you go up to the next floor, you get the banquet area, and it's set up with a kind of a catering kitchen area, would be catered, and then set up with a movable divider that we can divide the room into 2 spaces if we have 2 different functions going on. And then one thing when we were developing this, we also said, you know, this is such a great spot. You know, what about some use of that roof? And because it's real inexpensive, and so we started looking at what a great experience it would be to come up here. There's a little grill in the center of it. We've got kind of a screen wall to put the mechanical on the other side. And you can look out. River's, it's early morning, so we've got some fog rolling in off the river. But you really, you start to picture looking up and down this, what a great experience this is going to be and what fun it would be. Another thing, every time I've been to an event, and I think one of the most successful I went to, and you go to these banquets and they're fundraisers, whatever, but it's also nice to walk outside, to enjoy that and fellowship with other people. The opportunities for multiple spaces and use of this, I think, are just phenomenal. Now let's see, go to the plans a little bit so I can share with you a little bit what's happening on those. And this again, here's your entrance over here, and this is on the museum level. It's set up with a control point here, and with cameras, you know, one of the things we're always looking at, how do we reduce operating costs? There's not a lot's going on. Truthfully, you could sit here and have a camera set up here. People could come in, and the librarian downstairs could be monitoring anyone coming in. And they can have a sensor and come up if someone wants to come in. You know, when you don't have a volunteer or something to man the museum. The archives is set up here. And we've just kind of divided this off a little bit with some randomness because we're looking at what is the flexibility of what the spaces can be. None of these are load-bearing walls, so we can change it out too in the future. Again, looking for flexibility. We've got bathrooms on this level. So again, you can close down the library, you can close down everything else, and just have a museum event if you want. And going up to the next floor, again, you're enter here. You also have some nice views out the windows in this. A control point where you can pick the codes. The catering kitchen set up here where they can feed out into the banquet rooms. And the seating capacity we have is like 245 in there is what we're looking at. So it's pretty good size in that direction. And we've got substantial bathrooms for this floor, so if you have large activities going on. And now, did you have a roof plan in there? Up there? Oh, you can go back. Where's that? Go back one. the 3D ones are a little easier to see, but you can also see the partition that would come over here. We stopped it a little short so we could meet exiting requirements out of that area. And then the top floor, again, we've got the walkway out here, a little kitchen grill, a counter area for seating, some benches. Again, the furniture's real flexible. And then we've got a screen wall where we put the mechanical back here and with the skylight, the solar panels back in this direction. Orientation works perfect for a lot of those things. And let's see, what else you got there? These are just some elevations of the building and some of the other drawings of it. But that was a real quick overview. We're open to any questions. You know, you bought 7,000 square foot of floors, the way we worked it out. And I really think there's just so many opportunities for flexibility, choices, whatever you want to have happening in the city. And I think the enthusiasm, excitement we can get going with this facility and the activities that can take place, I think it will just make that whole area take off really well. So, questions?
Yes, I'd like to ask one. You said 7,000 square feet.
Per floor.
Have you talked to the library board? I mean, we've not had no discussion.
We've met with them. We went over and reviewed it. Their input was very good, and they were very positive on what we had in that direction.
So there'd be enough. That's on my own concern. This is the first we've seen it.
Yeah, I had a couple little things. I think we added a bathroom back in the staff area. Was one of the things they'd asked for, and we'll work with them further as we develop the rest of the drawings. But overall, they were I think it's a unanimous vote, wasn't it, that day? That's it.
What's the cost of this project?
I didn't want to know the cost.
It's important.
Let's see. I don't have that budget number right handy there, but Larry, you got it there, or Scott?
It's over 5. It's total budget, Scott, I believe, 5.5. Does that sound right?
Yes.
Total budget.
And that's all the development, there's furniture, there's a whole bunch of parts in there. Again, the geothermal and looking at ways we can keep the operating costs lower as we go forward.
I noticed on the top there, you got observation there. That'd be nice, but there'd be a lot of liability there, like kids get up there and
Well, you have control.
about 40 foot tall.
You have control to everything up there, and there's a railing and you know, I think you always have a potential, but I think it's well controlled and access to everything in there. You know, I was up on a similar thing and a lot taller than that in Atlanta the other day. You know, it's just part of it. Deals. I think they have reasonable security when it's set up for. I can't imagine it being a problem.
Michael, I'll just make one comment. I'm doing the title work on all this property.
Good.
You probably already know that all of that's in the flood zone, as is most everything in downtown Newport. So I don't know if that will affect how you want to design, but that entire complex will be in the flood zone.
Up one floor.
Were you aware of that?
I knew the flood was through a bunch of it. I knew we were probably raising the site some in this process. I'm not sure exactly what the elevation will be in that direction.
So that changed, the library would have to go up another floor.
Change a little bit how we work out the grading and flow of it. But as I remember, it's been a while, we've been looking at what some extra fill was going to take to be up in that area.
We hadn't met, library board hadn't met with the architect, and we agreed that the space is probably okay, but we're not sure how to arrange the library. We don't really go along with the way they want it, so we would have to have the option to decide how to set it up.
And that's why all that's furniture in there, so the flexibility of that space is really how they want to arrange it and whatever one it shifts in the future. One thing we looked at too is it just need to have a lot of flexibility to it for as time changes.
And what would your fee be on, based on cost, or?
We've got a fixed fee that we put in together and included all the paperwork and the process of submittals in through the funding and sources and that. And we've got a breakdown to Scott, and I don't remember how it was exactly broke out in there. But
There's a schedule in the contract in their notebooks.
So that'd be on top of the 5.5 million, is that what you're saying?
yeah, well, it's part of it. It's a fixed fee, and I can use state's fee schedule the way it was structured. And that did include all the extra paper processing.
Feeling extra large. That's it, Terry Reed, all that.
Any other questions?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Continue with item 7, under B, Tanner Preservation Alliance, Roland Dykes.
Roland is obviously out of town, but we have been working on trying to submit a grant that's due. The deadline is April the 15th with the local law on through the National Trust. So that's one of the things that we're working on.
Has he ever got the 501?
We have working on that as well.
That takes a little time sometimes, don't it?
Yes.
Under 9, item A, consideration of second reading of ordinance 2013-2, adoption of state traffic statutes.
Mayor, excuse me, I'll read the caption of that. That is.
Terry, excuse me, at this time, Connie, I'd like to adjust the minutes of the meeting. I'd like to add a personnel issue to the end of the agenda.
Okay. When we get to that point, just
We have to,
vote to
vote to
allow it
waive
to
the.
waive the rules to change
Yeah,
the,
to add that to the
add
agenda.
to the agenda.
Yeah, to the end of the agenda.
Okay.
So Mayor, I will continue with reading the caption of ordinance 2013-2 into the record. It's an ordinance of the City of Newport, Tennessee, replacing Municipal Code Section 11-101 and adopting by reference state traffic offenses and rules of the road.
Okay, do we have a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion. I'll second.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor indicate by saying yes.
Yes.
Opposed is no. Item B is consideration of second reading of ordinance 2013-3, budget amendment.
Mayor, that is ordinance number 2013-3, an ordinance to amend City of Newport's budget for the fiscal year beginning July 1, 2012 and ending June 30th, 2013, and further referenced as fiscal year 2012-2013 budget appropriation ordinance amendment.
Do we have a motion to approve?
I make a motion.
Do we have a second?
I second.
Any discussion? All those in favor indicate by saying yes.
Yes.
Opposed is no. Item C, consideration of ordinance 2013-4, revision of the term for city judge.
And Mayor, that is ordinance number 2013-4, an ordinance of the City of Newport, Tennessee, amending ordinance number 99-1, wherein the city judge's term will be, go from a 2-year term to a 4-year term.
Do we have a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? All those in favor indicate by saying yes.
Yes.
Opposed is no. Item D, consideration of ordinance 2013-5, fireworks sales prohibition.
Mayor, Mayor, Scott and I talked about that briefly before the meeting, and our conversation was to the effect that, if I understand Scott correctly, we need to review that ordinance a little bit further, and perhaps run it through MTask so that we can do exactly what the council basically told us that they wanted to do at the workshop, which was to basically prohibit the sale of the temporary structures that sell fireworks inside the city, and also to review the peddlers, the ordinance that's now in place. Mark Robinson provided us a copy of that ordinance. I think hopefully everybody's got a copy. And I would suggest we put this off at least another month till the next workshop so we can get together and work on that to do exactly what we intend to do.
Does anyone have a problem with that? Thank you, Terry. Consideration of professional services contract, RGC and A Engineers.
Mayor, this contract is part of the library development contract through rural development funding, and it is for the drainage and other site preparation engineering studies.
Any discussion on that or a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion?
Do we have the money in the budget to start this, or?
Yes, this is part of the rural development project.
Part of the 1.6?
No, this is part of the 5.5.
Do we already have that?
Yes. The mayor signed the documents about 2 weeks ago. Council passed a resolution in August.
If I could just make a comment on that, too.
Yes.
When you review those contracts, if you'll make certain that you put conditions pursuant to the enforcement of contracts that the city actually closes on these purchases, because none of the contracts has closed yet. There's title issues with them, with some states. I think they all will close, but we have 3 estates that we're dealing with that have to have some issues cleared up before we can close them and have good title. There are 6 different property owners inside the complex, and they all need to close simultaneous. We've got the majority of them ready and in good shape to close, and then we're waiting on some estates to clear up to close the rest of them, and we'll close all 6 of them same day, but that's where we're at with them.
Just contingent upon the closing.
Closing of the
Right.
properties. So, Alderman Morgan, would you be willing to make that?
Add that to the motion.
Yes.
I'm not gonna restate it, but what she said will be fine with my motion.
Okay.
Second, also, he made the second.
John, did you make the second?
Yes.
And
Everyone clear on the motion now? Any other discussion? All those in favor indicate by saying yes.
Yes.
Opposed is no. Item F, consideration of professional services contract with Michael Brady Incorporated for the library complex.
Mayor and board, likewise, this is the rural development contract required, and it's state and federal guidelines for the architectural services on the library complex.
Do we have a motion to approve?
I'll make the motion.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
And that still would be contingent on the
Contingent.
closing.
Same addendum that she.
Closing on the
Okay.
properties.
Any discussion? All those in favor indicate by saying yes.
Yes.
Opposed is no. Okay, item G is consideration of professional services contract, Michael and Brady Incorporated for the City Hall renovation.
This is for the renovation of the backside of City Hall, and this is part of the Tennessee Municipal Bond Funding, the 1.6 that Alderman Gregg mentioned.
Do we have a motion to approve item G?
I'll make the motion.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion?
I'd like to ask a question.
Yes.
Do we need to do all this? I thought that 1.6 million was just to buy all this land downtown and tear the buildings down. See what we have later.
It included the acquisition and demolition fees. It also included a splash park, the back of City Hall, and thank you.
Right, yeah.
She remembers that one.
Yeah.
And
She remember that.
we've only drawn down about 800,000 of the available 1.6.
How much of that 1.6 was toward the Tanner building?
80,000.
That's just for tearing out, and then we gotta put it back, didn't we?
That was for the decontamination, the removal of the environmental hazards.
Okay, when we meet with Tanner, we fix that building, where we gonna get the money for it?
Well, the council could decide to move around the remaining funds of the Tennessee Municipal Bond Fund. Because right now, we only have half of it committed. The rest of it will be your all's choices.
So we've not actually spent 800,000, we've got 800,000 committed.
We have drawn down, and we're waiting, as Judge Bell said a moment ago, we're waiting on closing a few other properties. We have acquired approximately $400,000 worth of property so far. But we have the money set aside to get the Freeman Building, the National Bank buildings, or parking areas, and also the Fudd Balls buildings. And then the rest of it will be, you know, we had that sheet back in August that everybody looked over. It can be revised, though. It's not in stone. Council's pleasure.
Well, I think right now, you're gonna get all this other big project. I think our building here looks pretty good the way it is. You know, back our back, it don't have to be done right now.
I'm just going on what we talked about at the retreat and in August, so it's council's pleasure.
We had a motion.
We had a motion and a second, didn't we? Any other discussion? All those in favor indicate by saying yes.
Yes.
Opposed is no.
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 Yes, we need a roll call.
Okay, roll call, please.
Vice Mayor Costner,
No.
Alderman John Bud,
Yes.
Alderman Freddie Gregg,
No.
Alderwoman Kathy Holt,
No.
Alderman Kenny Morgan.
Yes.
Okay, so item G failed to pass.
Mayor, I have a comment.
Yes.
Well, why did we vote on this if we're gonna vote it down today?
I don't remember voting on it. I'm gonna be quite honest with you.
I don't remember voting on that.
Fair enough.
The first time I seen the
It was on the
pictures.
list for the rest of the stuff.
Well, the
Why
one
we
over-
wasted the
I
time.
went back and pulled the list, the one over on North Street's not on the list
Division
either, but we.
2020, for you've been here as long as I have.
It wasn't on there, Kenny.
No.
Kathy, you wasn't here on the Vision 2020 list.
I was here, Vision 2020.
When we brought the list that we approved, this board, that building was not on there.
The one at Northport.
Right.
No, that was added to clear that up and use it for storage to get rid of the barrels to free up
But when
that community.
we didn't vote on it as a board.
We never voted on the thing.
It did.
I couldn't say right off.
It wasn't on the list, is what I'm saying. The list that we got back in August, that building was not part of that list that we voted on to purchase.
That building was cost what? 40,000.
Right. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
And I don't remember this being on the list either. And I do have the list, but I don't remember the city hall being on there.
I don't even.
I may be wrong, but I don't
It
remember it
was
being
on
on
there.
there.
It was on there.
Wow. Well, the first picture I sent you, gave us the handbook. I mean, it looks good, don't grant you, what you had, that looks good. But right now, I just don't think what we got going that we need to do all this.
That's fine with me.
I mean, we're in a recession unless everybody just wants to go up on property tax.
Well, we're retiring. I talked to Scott about this a while back. How are we gonna pay for this? We're retiring debts through this year and 2014 and 2015. Well, most of it's 2013 and 2014. That is going to, I don't remember the exact, I've got that on this not. Well, we're retiring considerably more than what we're going to spend. I think the library complex is going to cost $20,000 a month, and we're retiring way over that amount, plus the projected $150,000 we're going to receive in new property taxes for the annexation. Correct? Am I correct on that?
Yes, sir.
Projected.
We will be retiring approximately $298,000 in debt service. We will be picking up new revenues from areas 2, 3, and 4 of approximately $150,000. That comes up to roughly $441,000 in available money. This added debt service through the Tennessee Municipal Bond Fund and through the Rural Development Program is going to be approximately $340,000. So technically we're coming out almost $100,000 ahead.
But technically, we're spending money we don't have yet. Projection, that was the one.
I don't understand.
What he said was projected to bring in so much out areas 3 and 4. And what she's saying is we're spending money that we're projected to get from 3
But
and 4.
not guaranteed.
That's what she said.
When does rural development start being paid back?
2015.
And I'm totally on board to do anything that we can do to improve our city and a better library facility for our kids of the future. And the museum has needed space for 20 years or longer. And if we don't jump out and show the community we're trying to do something to better our city, you know, I've been on councils for a long time, and a lot of times they sit back and did nothing. But if you're going to grow, you're going to have to jump out and do some stuff to show the people what we're elected for, and that's to try to improve the city.
But I don't think the library was already approved, all that stuff. This was what he brings up, just the back part of this.
Right, yeah, I mean, y'all done voted. I'm talking about the library.
Right.
Well, we done both.
Because, you know,
Library's
but it come up how we're going to pay for this. You know, I wouldn't have been for it at all if we couldn't have paid for it.
Also, we got that 1.6 million we got to start paying on too.
But we do not have, I mean, we don't have to do the back of City Hall.
That's what I'm saying.
You're right.
That's something we can wait on.
Any other discussion on that? Item H is consideration of professional services contract for Johnson Controls. That was the group that was at the workshop. Yes. Do you want to speak or just counsel from the report that we got from them? What's your pleasure or questions?
I thought we agreed. I make a motion, we approve.
Okay. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Any discussion? All those in favor indicate by saying yes.
Yes.
Opposed is no. Okay, item I is consideration of establishment of assistant chief position for the fire department.
I make a motion, we approve that.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
And I guess we got the money to pay for that, don't we?
I guess we do. We have it for everything else.
Yeah.
Where's that coming
It's
from?
already in the budget.
It's there.
It's there, Randy.
I beg to differ.
Well,
Randy, did you not show us?
The city hall ran the numbers and Randy read it.
Well, obviously, there's been conversations outside of here since the workshop.
So,
The numbers are right here.
Obviously, there's been conversations outside here, because we sat right in there the other night and discussed the Vision 2020 for the last 2 years. So if we're gonna play this little silly stuff, then let's play.
Let's play.
All right.
You've been playing it for years.
Okay, we have a motion.
right.
We have a second. We had a second.
Yes.
Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Alderman John Bud,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Bill Costner,
yes.
Alderman Freddie Gregg,
Yes.
Alderwoman Kathy Hope,
Yes.
Alderman Kenny Morgan.
No.
4-1.
The approval of his hiring, why is it not in? I thought we was gonna do that too. When hiring-
First responders.
No, hiring the firemen when Kenny leaves.
It's replacing Kenny Eisenhower. I'm not adding any, I'm still only gonna have 25 people. I mean,
Yeah, he's not
I
adding any.
appreciate this last vote,
Right.
but when we hire this new person, it replaces Kenny Austin.
Yes.
I only have 25 people, and I only have
So we don't
25
need
people
that.
today.
No, no, there's not another position.
Right.
But, yeah, if I just need to know that I can call whoever and tell them. If you want the names, actually, the rules state that I give you the names and you tell me who we hire. But if you want me to recommend, I'm willing to do that.
Is civil service setting the pay for that position, Randy?
That pay has already been set.
Is
I mean, yeah,
it, the assistant chief, is it being set by civil service?
It can be, but as I told you all in the workshop last week, if you'll tell me what that position should be paid, then I'll do everything in my power to make sure that's
We
where
don't
we
do
go.
that. The civil service sets the pay.
Well, then I can bring you numbers. Then
Thank
if
you.
that's how you want it to be done. That's the will, whatever you guys want me to do, that's how I'll do it.
I think that would work.
Do I tell one of these two? Travis Kelly and Blaine Hartzell are the two names.
The way it is, it's an empty position.
I'll get right on it. Thank you.
Okay, consent.
Is that not what we said? That's what you said, it was an empty position, so we don't have to approve anything for him to hire one.
I don't think so.
Not for the position that's empty.
No, not for an
I'm
empty
talking
position.
the assistant chief setting the pay. Have you
Setting
what
the
the
pay.
pay is?
Established a new position.
You established a new position,
Right.
we don't set the pay for that position.
We don't set any of the pay. Any of their pay.
They set the thing. I mean, you remember 6
Well, I'm
months?
sure they're not gonna set it no higher than what he's brought us paperwork on. That's what you're gonna go forward to the
Yes, sir.
civil service board to try to
Yes, sir.
get.
In fact, I'll discuss it with Scott and make sure Scott knows everything, and it's well within what I told you. Julia ran these numbers for me 2 different times to make sure I was right.
All right.
Okay. Item J, consent agenda, request for temporary signs on city property, Relay for Life. Yes.
Hi.
Hi.
My name is Katie Thomas, and I am the current Cott County Relay for Life Chair. And for those of you who may not know who I am, I'm pretty new to the community. We moved here about a year ago. My husband is the CEO of Newport Medical Center. And with him and Cindy Holt, who is our co-chair at Relay for Life, we're really excited about our event, which is going to be held at Cott County High School on May 3rd. And I'm here this afternoon, or this evening, to request signage on the corner of Cosby and Broadway. We'd like to put the signs up a month prior to Relay. The signs would be along the lines of what is usually put up, for example, for the Newport City Festival. They would be along the same size. And then the only other thing that I wanted to ask about was the tree that's here downtown. I know we have purple lights on the tree. I know there's been some discussion of that the tree's going to be trimmed or that the lights may not work, and we would like to light the tree up as well if it's possible this year. That's it.
It's my understanding, and I just heard this about the tree, that the current lights had actually grown into the limbs.
Yeah.
And they were going to have to be trimmed out to
Okay.
get in order to put new ones up. Is that correct?
So we would need to purchase new lights for the tree. The ones that are on there would probably need to be removed.
I'm not totally sure. That's just what information had come to me.
Okay.
Does anybody?
If they would burn, would she want to trim it for it? If it, you know, if you don't trim it, they probably would, line, it would burn if they turn them on, maybe. You just have to wait and see, turn it on and see if it works, okay, if it don't, then you
Yeah.
have to come in.
I thought we.
There's some of them that
to
don't
let
burn.
Sarah and Kelly and them.
Yeah, they were supposed to.
To
yeah.
address
Yeah.
the
They
issue.
were addressing that.
Them trimming the tree or getting those lights out or
Yeah.
replacing it or whatever.
And there is quite a few out that don't even burn,
Okay,
a big section.
okay. So is there someone that I need to talk with, or?
Man, the blue shirt standing back there, big, isn't it?
Yes.
Man in the blue shirt.
On the tree.
And then,
Okay,
of course, the only other concern is the signage in the
Okay,
corner.
well, Mark, that does meet the standard that we've used in the past. We've always let Relay for Life put it up there for a month, haven't we? Okay,
You talking about Mark Robinson or Mark Hill?
Mark Robinson. Mark Hill, I don't know anything about that.
If she's talking about the, where the Christmas tree property is and across over where the Presbyterian Cemetery was, Tim Dockery requested authority over any signage on there. So I've been letting him just coordinate whatever he's comfortable with. Otherwise, I believe I suggested that they could put a sign for this event at the memorial building if the property owner goes along with it. So I think Tim, Mark.
So Mark did have say-so, what you're saying.
Second is the
So council just needs to approve getting with Mark and Tim or whatever.
Or if you all want to say, to go ahead and ask him to allow it.
Okay, do we have a motion?
Then we're gonna make it, I'll make a motion that we do it for Relay for Life.
Yes.
I'll say.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor indicate by saying yes.
Yes.
Opposed is no.
Thank you very much for your time, and I hope to see all of you at Relay for Life. And please encourage your constituents to come and support and make teams. We'd really appreciate the help.
Thank you.
Thank
We
you.
appreciate what you do.
Thank you.
Okay, Kathy, you had an item that you want to get the council to
We
vote.
had
We got the-
Long Creek. Is that still
It's
on?
not on mine.
It's Long Creek.
Long Creek?
Long Creek, yes. By approving the consent agenda, it'd be approved.
Okay.
We not just a motion.
It's not on my copy.
Motion for Long Creek.
Look on the orange sheet.
It's on. If you say it's on there, it's on there. Okay, a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Yes. Motion made.
Second. Any discussion? All those in favor indicate by saying yes.
Yes.
Opposed is no. Okay, Kathy, you wanted to ask council to put an issue.
You need a motion to suspend the rules.
I made the motion to suspend the minutes and add something to the end of it, to suspend the rules and add something to the end of the agenda.
Okay.
It's a personnel issue, and at this time, with the council's vote,
Wait a minute, you gotta get that suspended first.
Yeah.
okay, because
Do we have a second to suspend the rules?
What are we suspending?
Suspend the rules to add,
a personnel issue to the end of the agenda.
Do y'all need to know what the personnel issue is?
I would think so. I would. I'd prefer to know.
to suspend the rules and add it, and then she can bring it on.
You don't have to, I mean, the motion is to suspend the rules, to add another agenda item to the agenda, and that item is a personnel. So technically, she wouldn't have to say
Tell you what it is. Okay, all right.
We're
And you
gonna, I
second.
think we're gonna learn here in about,
Yeah.
assuming the motion passes. So if we have a second, are you seconding the motion?
I'll second all of
Okay, we have a second. I guess discussion on any items that's motioned in second.
Do we need to discuss it?
We can do it, let's do a roll call if we want to suspend the rules.
Vice
Is
Mayor
there-
Bill,
Is there,
Yes.
can we just say what it is, or is this secret?
It's no secret, it's just a personnel issue.
Are we gonna discuss it beforehand or after?
Would you like for me to go ahead and do it?
I'd like to.
We can't till we suspend the rules.
We can't do it until we suspend the
Do a roll call.
Vice Mayor Bill Costner,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Freddie Gregg, I'm sorry, Alderman Freddie Gregg,
Yes.
Alderman John Bud,
I don't understand what we're doing.
Suspend the rules to let Kathy bring up a personnel issue.
Okay, didn't we hire him to take care of personnel? That ain't Scott. He's the, it ain't making sense. I'm voting no.
Alderwoman Kathy Holt,
Yes.
Alderman Kenny Morgan,
No.
Okay, what's that, 3-2? Okay,
Now what are we talking about?
okay.
At this time, I would like to make the motion that Scott Collins be relieved of his duties as city manager, effective immediately.
Okay, we've got a motion on the floor. We got discussion or a second?
I'll say.
Mayor, may I please join in this conversation for a minute?
Yes, we've got,
Second first.
we got a second.
I'll say.
Just for the record, would you please state why you just made a motion to terminate me?
Scott, there have been a lot of things going on with the issues down here at City Hall with Victoria, with people getting raises, and it has happened. The council has not been informed. The property that was purchased on Blazer Street, council didn't have any input in that, and anything over $5,000 is supposed to come in front of councils. It's also been brought to my attention that there were 2 more police cars bought. That hasn't been brought in front of council.
Ma'am, on the police cars, you just voted on second reading to approve them. It's in the budget amendment ordinance.
Is it in their budget?
It is now. You all just approved the amendment to add the money to it. And it clearly states in the notebook.
There's so many things, Scott.
Why has this motion just came out of the blue? We had a workshop last week. This should be stuff that I'm given an opportunity to correct. Because this is the first I'm hearing that you all been unhappy with my performance. And now you make a motion to terminate me? With all due respect, I've invested 5 years of my life working on behalf of this city. And all this time, we have worked well together. We are moving this city in the direction that people only dreamed about. If I may, Kathy, we have had wonderful conversations talking about how exciting this city's going. And we have a great workshop. We're fired up. We're building and changing the landscape in the future. We're providing opportunities. Our revenues are the best they've been in years. Our financial stability is the best they've been in years. Our employment efficiency is the best it's been in years. So please, tell me the reason you're wanting to fire me.
I told you, Scott, you are making decisions without consent of council.
Name one. Please.
Scott, I did.
Victoria?
The building over on Blazer Street. I was not aware of it. Were you aware of it? Bill, were you aware of it?
Mr. Bug, was you aware of it?
We talked about it.
Mr. Morgan, was you aware of it?
Absolutely.
Mayor Ball, was you aware of it?
I was the one that brought it up that that would be a purchase that we need to make to free up the road over there and use it for storage.
Even that, though, don't fire me over something like that. Give me an opportunity to work through this. We'll resell it or something.
Why are you hiring in people off the street at a rate higher than people we've had here 5 years? And yes, I can name names if you'd like.
Well, I'd prefer not to discuss personnel issues, but if you would like, I'm somewhat confused because everything's done within budgetary parameters and within money available and in fitting with experience, job descriptions, and education. So if I've done something wrong, please tell me. Don't fire me. Let me work this out. By contract, I have 30 days anyway, but again, if there's something, if you want Victoria back at City Hall, I'll bring her back to City Hall.
No, I don't want her back at City Hall for you to do to her what you did to Amanda.
Kathy, what are you addressing now? I'm sorry, I'm really confused now because we have promoted and put Amanda in an administrative assistant position. So please explain that statement.
You knew Victoria didn't want to go to the community center.
I let it be Victoria's choice.
She had no choice.
She can come back tomorrow.
You told me, and this come from your mouth, if she stayed here, she could not get a raise in pay. But if she went to the community center, you would give her $1 more an hour.
Yes, because there she becomes an administrative assistant. The Parks and Recreation Department does not have an administrative assistant until we made that move.
And that puts her at $11.50 an hour. Then you turn around and give your wife a $2.75 raise, which puts her above Victoria. That's not fair.
And it's apples and oranges, ma'am. It's apples and oranges. If that's what this issue is about, if you do not want these programs that I mentioned earlier in my report, I'll terminate the position. If that's the will of the council, I can terminate the position. I'll bring Victoria back to City Hall if that's what you three want. Just tell me. Don't fire me.
What's the 3 you talking about? You said 3.
Well,
Then we've not voted. Motion and a second.
No, sir. I would assume being the ones to suspend the rules, that's what 3 I meant. 3 votes suspended the rules to discuss this issue.
By charter, who does the hiring and firing, Terry?
The city administrator.
Thank
But
you.
he cannot create positions.
None have been created. None have been created. Everything either has, the only position that's been created the past several months was tonight with the assistant chief, and we followed that. I learned my lesson, and former Alderman Dennis Thornton can attest to this. I made a hire the first 3.
Let me tell you, I don't have a vote there.
No, but I made a.
Well, since you brought me into it,
I did not bring anybody into it,
did
but
you post those positions, the 3 that you hired then?
2 of them were in-house promotions.
A part-time is not considered in-house employee. A part-time employee is not a full-time employee. You moved from a part-time to a full-time.
Yes.
By charter, those jobs should have been posted, correct?
No.
Yes.
Regina's job, and I'll mention a name, her job should have been posted to hire that position, correct?
It's subject to recall within a 9-month parameter.
Show me that charter.
It's not in the
Right.
charter, but it is a state policy that I'll be proud to show you to it.
It's not in our charter. Our charter says that all jobs will be posted.
Well, I don't, in our charter, it says all jobs will be posted.
We have not posted the last 3 positions, is what I'm saying. Since you brought me into it, now I was out of it until then. But those 3 positions have not been posted in the paper or anything. When we went to hire, we brought her back. We never posted that position. We created a position. You told me that you were bringing her back as an assistant to
The executive assistant,
The finance director, I can't think of it.
Julia.
Yes, sir. I called, before I made any of these personnel moves, I contacted each one of you personally and spoke to you about it, left a phone message with Kathy. She did not take the call, but I spoke to Mr. Gregg, I spoke to Mayor Ball, I spoke to Vice Mayor Costner, I spoke to Alderman Morgan and Alderman Bugg. The only concerns that some of you made was everybody okay with this? Mainly meaning Victoria.
And I asked, was it in budget?
Yes.
And you said yes.
Yes.
And we just sat here and approved to move money from other areas to put it in the budget for these people.
No, sir. You didn't move any money from any department. If you'll read that budget amendment, it is where we're receiving an additional $104,000 that's undesignated. So in my management experience, I wanted to put that money to where it best move this city forward.
Did we put that money in there for those salaries?
For two of them, yes.
So it wasn't budgeted from get-go?
No, Tim has been operating with two less positions for quite a while now.
Did we create those positions?
No.
You talking about this budget line item we voted for tonight? Didn't we vote last month on it?
Yes, sir. That was the first reading.
Well, that's the first one, so we voted on that second. Why wouldn't we make aware of the two new police cars? We've had meetings, and I've not been aware, we had 6 in there, my understanding, and you added 2 more. So if we need them, I understand, but why was we not aware of that?
Well, I wanted to put it, instead of just coming in here, Vice Mayor, and on a whim voting to buy something, I wanted to go ahead and amend the budget so the budget would have a true reflection on where our money's being spent.
I don't have a problem with that, but I just have a problem, we don't know what's going on. We vote on some things here. It's done. I said, I appreciate it. Say, hey, I need 2 more police cars added. I was not aware of that because I hear it on the side. I mean, if we need it, that's fine. I don't have a problem. I'd like to be told. And just like the building over there, that was a good acquisition. But I didn't know we was buying it. It was done bought. And so I think it was a good idea. But I'd like to be made aware of it.
But, sir, it's right here on the ordinance that you've had for over a month. Capital lease police cars.
Okay.
It was in your notebook and given to you in writing. What more do I need to do? I mean, I'm talking about my job here, my livelihood, and my family. So you all tell me what I need to do, and I'll do it. I'll fix it.
That's what I'm saying, make us aware of what's going on.
Sir, count on it. If I need to call you all every day, I'll call you every day. I thought I was doing a competent job of keeping you all in communication. And I can improve, believe me. I can improve. Please just tell me what you expect, and I'll meet those expectations.
Any other comments?
Can the public comment on this?
It's up to the board.
As far as I'm concerned, you can. Freedom of speech.
Come to the microphone, please.
When I was hired to do my job with East Tennessee State University, my supervisor felt that I was qualified or capable of making some decision without me calling him every single day. If you think he was competent enough when you hired him, why do you, to me, it's so nitpicky. It's so nitpicky. Why should he have to call you all every time there's something coming up? If you didn't think he was competent and qualified enough, I cannot imagine me calling Dr. Legier every day about a client. After a while, he's going to let me go because he felt like, well, Linda, I thought you were competent enough to do this. You can make some decisions on your own. This is like a witch hunt. in my opinion. This is like a witch hunt. I don't have nothing, it's not going to help me one way or the other, but it's like this is a witch hunt on Mr. Collins. And he and I don't see eye to eye on everything, but this is a witch hunt. Either you think he's qualified to do the job and let him do it, or he's going to spend 98% of your time, I found that out, trying to appease 2 or 3 people. And that's not good management. That's not good management. If you think he's qualified, give him free right to do what he needs to do. My supervisor does. I'm good at what I do. And he doesn't question me like this. They gave me a job description, and I do it. When it's in the best interest of the client, I will call to get verification that I did do this in the proper way. And he'll say, yeah. Linda, what would you do? Because he gave us all a brain. But it seems like this is a witch hunt, in my opinion, from what I'm hearing and seeing on Mr. Collins. And that's just not appropriate as a board. That's not appropriate. Someone's opinion in here is flawed. And I'm not sure who it is. But the stuff you need to be arguing about, like the Tanner building and other stuff and the traffic flow over here on North Street, nobody's bringing that up. You're going to nitpick this thing to death. You know, I can buy anything I want to. All I have to do is look in the catalog, send it to my supervisor. He feels like I'm qualified to know what I need to do to run my office. And I'm never second guessed. Never. And I've been doing this for 16 years. Now we need to get on with what we need to get on with and not nitpick this thing to death. That's just my personal opinion.
Thank you.
Spend all this time on nothing.
Just a question.
Come to the
Does the city have a nepotism policy? Do we need one? We need one.
We have one.
We don't have
We do?
We do.
Yes, we do.
No, we don't.
We don't have one, John,
We don't have one.
but we need one probably. But with that being said, here's my opinion on this. Obviously, the rules were suspended for a reason. The discussion's probably already been had, so they're gonna vote how they're gonna vote, and then they can.
Who's they, Kenny?
Well, Freddie, obviously, well,
Obviously,
after
you're mentioning me again, that I haven't talked to anybody about this situation.
well, obviously, you put a lot of thought into it, just listening to your dissertation a minute ago. So
Which one?
The one about all the budget line items, all the buildings, all that stuff. You hadn't been at any of the meetings, so don't sit here and act like you know everything's going on.
I'm
So
telling you right now.
if we won't go into that
If you
discussion,
keep
we
bringing
can.
me in here, then I will make a decision.
Oh, I know you will, Freddie. I promise you. I know you will.
I promise you to.
We need to calm this down and make this more civil, okay?
But it's not civil marriage.
Well, it's,
I think
mean,
we've got a
it's
motion
suspended
and a second on the floor.
This has been the protocol.
Use me as a reason.
Ever since we've had a city manager, that an annual evaluation be done, which we've done that. We might have missed a year somewhere along the line. I think we did with the first one. I can't remember that far back. But then after the evaluations took place, each council member, including myself, is given an evaluation form. It's like a 25-question thing, and I think Kenny and I had some discussion over that, whether it was good enough to evaluate a city administrator, but it mentions like 20, 25 of the major points that not only a city administrator would do, but an administrator in any field could possibly be judged on. That was scored, the results were handed in. Terry would always combine those into one report. And then I would tell council, if he was not aware, to the best of my knowledge, who voted what. But the final results were given to him, and then council I requested to them in writing that if you have a problem, then you take your problems and go sit down with Scott in his office and go over. And I have. The first year or two that he was here, we had several discussions. over some issues that needed to be corrected. And from my standpoint, I have seen improvement from what we did at that point in time. But that's the protocol for evaluating the administrator, is to score the total, then each council member has an opportunity to sit down and go over with the city administrator what they feel needs to be improved on. Just so the public would be aware of how that goes. Okay, now we have any other discussion? We have a motion and a second on the floor.
Who made the second?
I did.
Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Vice Mayor Bill Costner,
Yes.
Alderman Freddie Gregg,
Yes.
Alderwoman Kathy Holt,
Yes.
Alderman John Bug,
No.
Alderman Kenny Morgan.
No.
Okay, the termination carried, Scott, 3-2.
Mayor, I will be exercising my right to appeal,
Okay.
and
He does.
Is that what the contract says?
That's what the contract says.
Y'all know a lot about this contract, all of a sudden.
And then we'll
Read the book.
I'm going to.
No.
There's a lot more stuff in there too, I promise you,
No.
Okay,
for you and him.
let's move to item 10,
Why not?
the swimming pool liner grant. Jessica, have you got that information?
I do, we only had one bid submitted, and it's from y'all have that in your stack, but it's from
Okay.
the same company that did it last time. They just amended a little bit of the wording,
Okay.
and it's for the same price.
Mark. Tim's not here, is he? Is that the bid on the liner that you all want to accept? Okay. At the recommendation of Parks and Rec, the swimming pool liner, do we have a motion to approve that bid?
I'll make a motion.
Do we have a second?
I'll see.
Any discussion? All those in favor indicate by saying yes.
Yes.
Opposed is no. I hear none. Okay, the other item on bid is the mower tractor for the street department.
We had one company give us one bid, and another company give us 3 bids for the tractor portion and 1 bid for the mower. All those were on the Steve's and Ben's recommendation as well.
Ben, is that your recommendation?
Is it in your budget?
Which,
Yes, it is.
you said one company bid on 3
It's on the-
items?
Yeah, they brought 3 different tractor options and a mower.
Okay. What's your recommendation, Ben?
Mine is for the New Holland, $64,640.54.
It's the New Holland T5050.
T50, or that's how it mows.
That's not in your budget.
It's not in the book.
No, it's a piece of paper you gave us.
Oh, here it is. It's under my book. All right. What's the pleasure of council?
I make a motion.
For which one?
For his recommendation, which one is it again, Ben?
For the Dixon County equipment, it is for the New Holland T5050.
Okay,
And the motion is for New Holland.
okay. That's your motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Any discussion? All those in favor indicate by saying yes.
Yes.
Opposed is no. I hear none. You're welcome, Ben. Okay, the floor is open for comments from citizens.
I'd like to,
Could you step over there?
I'd like to say to the council, there's, all these new projects are well and good, and I'm excited about having a library downtown and a museum. But we have a project, the Tanner Building, it's been sitting for 2 years now, and way before my time, it's always needed some attention from the city who owns the building. So I'm encouraging the city to, before they start all these new projects, finish an old project. That's my comment.
And of course, there is money that council can deal with as they see fit out of the 1.6. Okay, that was what was mentioned earlier.
I think we did set aside 80,000 for them, remember you said?
That was.
The 80,000 was cleaned it up.
Clean it up. We said that's,
We haven't said anything.
There's still monies available.
Yes, sir.
My name's Tom Moody, and I'd like to be a peacemaker. I sense that we're not in unity here. I have a board of deacons that we call them a body. It's not a board, it's a body. They trust me to take care of physical things around the church, subject, of course, to reasonable things and to God. I think everybody needs to have somebody to whom they're accountable. It scares me that we have a state worker who says she's not accountable. I mean, she didn't mean that. She is accountable to her supervisor. And that kind of came across, Linda's a friend of mine, that kind of came across a little bit. It scares me that somebody's not accountable for what you buy and everything. I think everybody needs to be accountable to somebody else. But I would, in the interest of, Kathy, you made your point. Ms. Holt, you made your point. But I think there probably needs to be some things thought through, more so. And I would sincerely implore you, for those of you who voted in the majority on that motion, for somebody to consider rescinding that at least for a month or two until cooler heads can prevail and things can work out. I've got no dog in this fight except that I don't even live in the city, except I'm interested in what's going on in my city. And I would seriously implore somebody who was in the majority on that motion to make a motion to rescind that at least for a month or two and shake it up and see what falls out. That's my comment.
Thank you. Any comments from council? Any other comments from the audience?
My name's James Moore, and I've got more senior than all of you. But if this stands, we need to try to get somebody out of Newport to be the administrator. That's mine. Because about every time we pick somebody, we always go out of Cock County to get one. And we've got smart enough people here in this county and the city to do that job. Thank you.
Thank you, James. Any other comments? Do we have a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Do we have a second? Anybody opposed?